Oh, there we are. So, just a little report about the fun things about being old. I'm just about to turn 82. It's the early morning hours of July 29th, 2024. Very nice here. So quiet, so peaceful. You know, in the atmosphere, feeling um, so it's about memory. You don't remember uh, hardly any memory. I mean, in the moment. So in the moment, I'm having, um, you know, I'm just in the pretty much in the moment. But you know, nearby is a little timeline that goes back a few hours, and at a comfortable distance, there's the archives of my past, but they're not impinging on me. Oh, they're not influencing my mood. So I just, as God said, I am. And so Kamala Harris is running for office. What fun that is! Get the kids energized. Yeah, I mean, it's a fun time for us because we're still full of hope, and I hope that hope is not a hopeless hope. I mean, I hope it is a real hope, because none of us can imagine, don't want to even think about losing the democracy. I mean, losing this flawed thing that we have. It's kind of like a family, if you can live pretty close with your family, and at times you can know all all the flaws. There's so many flaws in your family. There's so many things. My God, some of them seem like really big things. But then when you get away from your family, and then you come back to your family and you think, oh, this is so nice, this vibe, this thing that you built while you're suffering and your agony and whatever it is, that kind of thing, and also the good things, is has real value, has real substance, you like being there. I think that's why the prophet said don't get divorced. I mean, it's like, well, there's some other reasons, but I mean, one of the reasons is because, suffer though you may, or, difficult that it may be, it's better than the alternative, which is when you do get divorced. My wife caused me, I mean, of course I could have refused, I suppose. She wanted a divorce, so finally, although I'm against divorce, I said, okay. I found it to be unpleasant, very unpleasant. There was nothing pleasant about it. For mom. I mean, I guess some people, there might be somebody somewhere. I've never experienced it. I think the general thing is, divorce, even if you had the best reasons and everything else like this, it's still no fun. So, and then about being old, about being energy. Like I have, if you had a span of energy that was this wide, say, let's say when you're a child, you have this much energy, so on. And then about the time you hit 30 or so, or 28 or 30, kind of drops into kind of this much energy, which is different. It's still quite a bit. And then when you're 40, it kind of comes over here, and then when you're 50, it's a little bit less, but not much. And then 60, it kind of moves a bit more. And then 70, starts to come in some more, and then 80, in my case, because I'm getting very close to the end, I have almost no energy. It's from here to like this much. So I have so little energy that when I see people doing just things that were normal for me, 20 years ago, I'm like, how do they get so much energy to do all that stuff? I know a woman who's 70 and 69. She's got lots of energy. Compared to me, I've almost none. Speaking of trickle-down economics, there's a guy who trickle-down economics when you're older that you're pretty economical with that little trickle of energy that comes down. All because, and then another thing, I have no, I keep getting these little thumbs up things, bubbles come up on my screen. I have no idea what that is. I can't remember now. See, I skipped my thought there, and there I am. Oh yeah, no, because you have no, I have no, I could pretty much do anything, I have sufficient funds, I could, whatever. I like to give money to the Ukrainians. That's a fun thing to do. Also my grandchildren, when they're needing food and they're having trouble with their rent, I love to do that. Help them out. And just the odd family that's struggling. It's a great fun to help out a family that's struggling. They're great, Luckily, in my case, the family I helped out was grateful, wonderfully grateful. Thank you so much, and they really, you could feel they meant it. These are fun things, but other than that, although a year ago I was thinking, wow, it'd be so great to have a Tesla. Well, now, I don't know, my father gave me a Lincoln, and, well, he didn't give it to me, but he passed away, and so, nice old car, 2003 Lincoln, I drive around, but I don't drive that much. And, at some point here, probably 6 months ago or something, I said, I need a Model Y, what would I do with it? Son leased one, so we got to have the fun. He leased a Model 3. Whoa, the future, People are quite, particularly on the left, they're quite upset with, they don't think much of Elon Musk. I can't understand the blindness of it. Elon, he was a fresh breath of air coming into the world. He lifted the morale up, electric cars, doing really good things in terms of space technology, and his Starlink had an antenna. If you read up about how that antenna works, that's impressive. I think that's one of the technologically AI sounds very impressive, but I mean that Starlink, the technology they have in there, how it's that little square thing, it doesn't move or anything. Amazing stuff. Well, I hope karma wins and everybody has a happy life going forward. I don't know. I'm pretty close. Anyway, so I was going to say, I have no, there's something, so if I ask, Is it something I want? You know, that that I could get. You know, a trip, new, clothes, any kind of material thing like that. Not really. I don't want anything. I don't want anything to speak of. I mean, I'd love to have a good wife. That's a companion. It's such fun. Even these days, when I go out, some of the women come over to help me with stuff, and I think whenever I put my hand up like this, it gets something on the screen. AI is coming and interprets. Oh yeah, and it puts up a big thing, thumbs up, bubble in a bubble screen. Yeah. Of course, there is the thing you want. You want to understand more about, you know, just being, understand about being. Tonight I was sitting on the bed and it was just like pretty shut down. It was, and then I saw, because there's a mirror on the closet door, sitting on the bed, you can see right there. I was sitting on the bed. Sort of kind of in the background I saw a bunch of bad fees come in and push those out. And then an angel came and gave it life. I felt the life. It's like, because you can exist in a kind of state of, you don't feel bad. It's kind of like being dead. I mean, there's nothing much there. It's not scary. It's just like there's nothing there. But then when the angel came and gave me the life, yeah, there it is. It's like a band. You can feel, yeah, we're in life. So I like that. So I've gone over to life, and I saw Subud. What an entangled mess it seems to be from a distance. I'm sure it's exquisite and perfect if you knew everything. But from a distance, it's one of the many things. It's kind of like, it reminds me of, if you had, let's say you had starving people, if you were on a kind of a blimp or something, or a boat way high up, you could see all around you in the ocean, there are all these people, and they needed stuff, and you wanted to help them. They were so far away. And you couldn't just, because of how they were, you couldn't just say, okay, here's the first thing, they wouldn't do this. No, we don't want to do that. So you sprinkle out across, you have your planes deliver, and across the ocean you see these parachutes dropping down with all these different kinds of nurture and good things and stuff in them. And it's pretty clear that although there is abundance of stuff coming down, plenty for everybody, but then right away there's confusion, people start swimming off in the wrong direction. Some people, for some reason, they're asleep or something, or they miss the whole deal and they're not going anywhere. They're not getting anything from all this stuff that you can see and you can perceive. They're probably getting something. Because as Suvi said, God is the most subtle of all, so there you have it. But Sketch kind of Suvi was something like that. A marvelous gift. It was like, let's give everybody, like spiritually, let's give everybody $1 billion. Let's give them heaven. Subi said that in the contact we received, everything was there, including heaven. He said, but you can't. Your feelings are still too dirty. You might not be aware of it. I mean, you're kind of aware of it, but you don't know what it is. And, it's like when you go to a new place, you see something, oh, that looks good, but you don't know quite. Some things, and the good things, something you can't say, oh, I didn't realize behind that tree there's this beautiful park. So over the years, as I started, having some sort of awareness of being connected with reality, with the Almighty, that there was, even being part of the Almighty, so it's kind of a fun place to go. It's a little bit tricky. Whoa. But this reality, some reality there. It's kind of a nice unifying place to be at. It's like, everything's good. It was like there were in the human instrument that I'm in. There are a lot of things that need to be purified. People don't, I guess, they don't sufficiently understand the notion that the human body has a track record. It's descended from, Abraham, or the first being Adam. And there are things you inherit. I mean, the man and woman have a baby, and that DNA and that whole trace of everything, it's all in there. So when that baby grows up, it has characteristics of the parents and has karma and kinds of things from their past, good and bad. And so among the perfect things that is said to have existed, I'm sure it did, it makes perfect sense. Subi told us that when the first human being came to the earth, Adam means first, the first being, inwardly just very intelligent, could see very well, about the essences of things around him and what was good. He could find his way through life without knowing anything. He knew absolutely nothing at first. The very first moment, he didn't know anything about this place. It's very, very different, in aspect and everything else from the other side. As they say these days, it's very dense. So it's like you can't see. It's like you were out in the wide open spaces and traveling around doing things, and then all of a sudden you dropped in a bucket into like a well or something. And in the well, you see there's all kind of life there. It's a very funny, strange source of life. You think, what is that? And that's how it is, in some sense, drop on the earth. Anyway, so you have sets of feelings in the human instrument. Fine feelings, coarse feelings, medium feelings. And of course the finer feelings along the period of the generation, 50 some odd thousand years, in this generation, well, those feelings, the fine feelings, they get tangled on and smashed up first. And then the medium feelings get smashed up pretty much. In a tough environment, the finer things will get crushed quite a bit. The medium things will hold up and better not get crushed so much. And then, of course, things, well, pretty much, some of them will survive. They may be coarse, but they don't get crushed. So when you get connected back up with the Almighty, why your coarse feelings work fine. But the thing about coarse feelings is it's kind of an odd, it's good, but it's sort of an odd place to be perceiving the reality, because a lot of things, when you're being purified, when God is working on you, most of the time you're just leading a normal life. You're not really paying attention. You don't want to get involved with your purification. You let the doctor take care of it, your inner doctor. Not, I don't go to doctors outwardly. Thank God. But so you have coarse feelings. You see everything through the coarse feelings. So if something comes as enlightenment, you get the enlightenment, but you get it on a coarse level, or you get. So trying to perceive things spiritually on a coarse level, and you don't realize it either. You don't realize that because your fine feelings are mostly trampled and don't even hardly, and they few around, so you get a little bit of stuff. And sometimes you shift into your medium feelings, you get more. But the coarse feelings is where you're kind of your default place you're operating from, and you don't realize how really can't see, because that telescope you're using to see that real thing there in the distance, really isn't very good. It's not very sharp. It's not very fine. Then, as you go along, then you do the fast every year, which, in my experience, and Subi says as well, it's like if you really surrender to God, if you really give it up for the Almighty, why you will fast. It's a command. Every year you will fast. And if you want to know the fast habits to coincide with when the Prophet Muhammad fasted, because he was tuned into God, so he fasted at the right time, and they set it up, and sure enough, that is the time to fast. Even though you're not Islamic, you still find yourself fasting during that moon. Because the moons have instructions for each month. I mean, every month is a different one. This month is happy month. Be happy month. Last month it was like, chaos of life instead of a struggle. Not dark, but just struggle. And so, the fasting month is like time to fast. The whole feeling and everything else. So, as your finer feelings start being resurrected, repaired, put, fixed up again. It's like when the mechanic is working on the car, It's pretty exciting when he gets it to run again. It's pretty exciting hearing that motor roaring and go, wow, this is great. But, it's still kind of rough. And let's say there's a little smoke coming out of it. So then the medium feelings start to get better. Things start to kind of balance out and can kind of sense different things. When the fine feelings get operational, it's much easier to be a spiritual person if your finer feelings are operational. It's easy to see. If I just looked just now. So I'm talking. I'm giving a talk. I can see it. Inwardly, I'm talking. It's easy to see, like when you do the worship. Different people in your sphere, your friends, your neighbors, the people you saw today, the president of your country, all these people, they'll come and go from your system. And when at first you're your course feelings, you don't know what it is, and then pretty soon it gets finer and finer. So it's an exciting journey over time. I mean, it's it's not like a movie you finally say that, I've had enough of this, I don't want anymore. It's all very perfectly balanced, so I mean, even though I'm thinking, I think, I don't know when I'm going home, because I don't, you don't want to know when you're going back. So then you say, oh my God, it's only a week away and I've got to do all these things, and you get moody about it. Better not to know, in a lot of ways, I'm sure. I mean, I suppose if you were ready for that, if your self was completely annihilated, as Papa said, or Sufi said, that Christ's soul was completely annihilated, otherwise you never would have been able to be crucified. An enlightened remark, and it's an interesting thing. But unless you're there, you kind of want to, just, because less and less that you want, and less that you can do, and then less and then ping, you're off to the other side, the other side of this whole thing, which I have to confess I'm looking forward to, as a rest from these kind of things, but I'm sure when I get over there, there'll be plenty of stuff to do there as well, but it's different. It's unfathomably different. I remember last year, I think it was, not just recent, but the year before that, and I was sitting waiting to do the fast. Suddenly I got a thing, and it came over me. I guess the actual eternal being, and it's like when you're sitting in that eternal being place, it's like you instantly realize that you become aware of the fact that you're perfect. You're absolutely perfect. There's perfection there. It's like when you make something, you make the cake, and you put everything on it. At certain points, and you go, bing, you go like, that's perfect. That's it. There's nothing to do. Serve the cake, people eat it. Well, it's the same thing with the eternal soul. It's like there's nothing to do. There's nothing. Oh my God, I've got to get to this point before everything will be bad. It's a different. That's a whole. It's not even in that realm. It's like perfect. Everything is really quite nice. It's different. It's terrific. I was hoping I could hold on to the state for a while. It lasted, pretty much an hour or so, or maybe something like that. And then, it's gone. I can only remember it, but I remember it. I lived it. I know it's real. As you know things, when you get impinged by something, it's real, you just know it. So, probably not going to be babbling on about things. The sun is down at Columbia. I'll breathe a sigh of relief when he gets home. He's feeling the same way I am. I don't know. We're kind of thinking, without getting too serious about it or anything. We're kind of thinking, well, can't see the future. The election is so incredible. We can't see past it coming up in November. I can't see, so I think living here on the earth, so kind of thinking, I don't know, we'll see. They're not letting me even think about it, so I don't know, but we'll see what happens. Alright, go with God, have fun, and pay attention. The whole thing about getting all involved in the world and everything else and this and that, it's good stuff. There's a lot of good things going on. But the thing is, it's a distraction in some sense. It's good. It's healthy, When you're learning how to use that table saw, it's wonderful. You're discovering, the history of this and that, all these kind of things, learning about politics, the dynamics of politics. There's so many things, I advocate non-mental type things. I think learning about your mind and all the things your mind can do is, from my point of view, is kind of a waste of time. Um, which I won't go into why that is, but I have good reasons why, I feel that way. But it's so the thing is to pay attention. What does it mean to pay attention? It means as you're going through your day, or as you're existing there in the moment, if you're at the point where you're in the moment, even getting to the moment, it took years for me to go, boop, instead of being kind of like existing in sort of past moments and other moments and things all at the same time. It all kind of happen in the moment. It's a thing that God cleans up for you, and then you can be in the moment. You can't just will yourself to be in the moment. You just have to kind of let things go along. You try to fix things yourself. Just relax. Just go about your daily life. Don't be too concerned about things. Stay away from extremes. Just live as you do. You feel like it's time to get up, do this. Then you gotta do this, and then you go do this and that. And then you feel like you want to rest, and you rest. Or you feel, various other things. And if it's alright to do those things, or it's good for you to do it, then you'll be doing those things. But when you reach a point where you kind of, over the years, you kind of pay attention. You felt something. You don't know what it was. Okay, you don't know what it was, but you felt something. So you noticed that you felt something. It's kind of awareness. You're aware, and so now, over time it gets more and more focused on the things of the moment, in the time frame. So in the actual worship itself, you're full blown on everything. It's like this you can see kind of to a limited degree. That's limited, but you can see what's happening. It's kind of like a field of view. You can see this much. You can't see what's outside of it. And of course, you're not that aware that there is anything. You feel it's how they do it. It's kind of a sort of numbing things. You're unaware that you're unaware, and that's good. But when you pay attention, you can start to see things. Like one of the things, a guy who pays attention, David Basher from India, marvelous narcissist type psychologist guy, worker. I think he was someone. He was. It's like when you're around a narcissist, when you're around a person that's manipulating you. You get around people that are kind of like maybe, from your point of view, they're not very light, they're not very, when you're around happy, you say, wow, this is great, it's so good to see you, and everything feels pretty good, and everything's pretty nice. Maybe there's the odd thing or two, but it's nothing to worry about, the wind's blowing through the screen, and maybe there's a blockage there on the bottom part of the window, and so some of the wind doesn't come through, but it doesn't matter because there's plenty of wind blowing through, that kind of thing. So, when you're around narcissistic people, he was saying that you feel a tightness in your core here. Because they're tight and they're manipulating you and stuff, and they're oppressing, or in his way of talking and thinking, they're kind of oppressing your feelings. They've got you and they're manipulating you, and that's a true thing. There's truth there. You can kind of tell about the people around you by how you feel. people, not very many, like maybe just one, my brother. Around, I feel, it's perfect. I mean, it's like everything is good. It's a great feeling. But there's only like one or maybe there's been a few of those. I don't know. I can't remember now, but not too many. When you were around Subi, it was like, wow, the incoming heaven, the incoming enlightenment. It was like beyond you. But it was like the thing was sitting behind you, kind of flowing in. Oh, this is so good. This is so good. Then he'd go away after a few days or a week or something. And you'd still be good. You still have kind of an afterglow, but everything would kind of sit down. Yeah. People would be surprised if they actually were able to experience what it's like to be around, the real thing, the real messenger. He would say, well, just an ordinary person. Yeah, and you could say he was extraordinarily ordinary. I mean, he was ordinary in the best sense of the word, like the essence of make you laugh. Okay, I don't want to go on and on. This is like one of Seinfeld's comments. It's all about nothing. I mean, there's nothing. I didn't have a theme. Maybe something about being all. Even that. So God bless. Don't forget to keep your say what you mean what you say, and keep your word. Want to be and watch those sources. You don't know what something is. Don't be too quick to follow it. Some things, life goes on. You don't have a choice about what is life, but there are things in your system that shift around, and if you don't know what they are, don't go there. Just let it pass. And all the stuff in your system, in your inner life that you don't know what it is. It's not really like it's something. What is it? Just let it pass. You don't know what it is. Don't follow us. Don't go there. Don't stop. Keep the forest. You want to be able to see the forest in spite of the trees. Okay, love you. Yeah, bye-bye.